Good evening, chat. Hi, guys. Um, no, I started on time, so I started at 9:35. Anyways, hello everybody, and welcome to the show. It's Thursday night, and um, I am not feeling 100%. This week, guys, I apologize, but uh, in the midst of traveling, I developed an ear infection, and oh my god, no wonder babies cry about them all the time because they hurt a lot. In fact, like I had to stop and go get I had to stop at an urgent care on the way up here while I was driving. So it sucks. It sucks. I'm like, I even got some pills now too. I can shaking my pill bottles, shaking, shake. Uh, Holy cow, it is rough. It sucks. And I'm sorry, last night, guys, I was completely out of it. I took what they gave me and I just, out. So, did I throw my equilibrium off? No, it didn't throw my equilibrium off, but there's just so much pressure on this side of my head. And like, I can kind of touch things now, but like this was all just so swollen and I can't chew. Like my jaw hurts. Like I can but I can't get this side of my teeth all the way down yet. So, it's a great thing. I can't eat as much food. So that's a good thing in a way. But anyways, this is going to probably be a shorter show tonight, guys. I don't know if I'm even going to do locals tonight. I'm spent. I am spent, chat. So we're going to leave that alone. Yeah, the hair's looking better. Hair's looking better here. So, but yeah, don't get an ear infection. It sucks. It sucks. Yes, I'm pilled out like Jeremy and Ralph. Yes, I wish I was. I wish I was, chat. But yes, we are here. I am at an undisclosed, nondescript location in the great state of Ohio, and be making my way back down tomorrow. Does this house have any broken kitchen cabinet doors? No. The owners of this home don't have any monuments to the fallen handymen. They, keep their house fixed up very well. They're very good, God-fearing people. Some of the best people around imaginable. Great people, the best. How was court? Court went about what I was expecting it to go. So, turned out okay. But yeah, I was, on Tuesday night, I was like driving and I'm like, either I've got TMJ or I've got an ear infection and I can't tell. And I woke up in the morning and my ear was killing me. And I'm like, okay, it's an ear infection. So it's an Airbnb? No. Even better. So I need SpaghettiOs for the kids? No, this house does not have SpaghettiOs. Did you go swimming? I probably could go swimming. Is it Bonbon's house? No. No, it's not Bonbon's house. But I did see Bonbon today. I have pictures. I have proof of life. I will put those up for members only here in a minute. So I will put those up in a little bit. Wiggle the outside of your ear. If it hurts, it's an infection. Oh, yeah. No, trust me. The whole thing hurts. I went to urgent care and the dude shoved he's like, I'm sorry, this is going to hurt. He put the otoscope in my ear. And it actually felt really good for the counter pressure. And I was like, I felt like I probably looked like Dark Side Phil when I leaned my head back. But it felt so good. It felt so good. Steve said I am TMJ wants to suck properly. Yeah. A White says regular aspirin's good. I have been. I've been taking Tylenol. It's been helping a lot. But the amoxicillin, this shit is like helping a lot. Sort of the ear things. I guess ear things beyond a heating pad. Well, I've been taking hot and cold to help. So like I stopped at the gas station, you get like a bottle of water and you just kind of like put it on your head, put it in your shoulder and just lean your head against it a little bit. And that helps take the edge off. So it works really good. We're surviving though. But yes, thank you, Coffee Cat, for the $5. We're gonna be a little off tonight, guys. I don't got the same kind of. This one's not gonna be the greatest show ever. It's gonna be kind of short too. My apologies. My stack of, I have like a Word file that I have every week That's just the stuff I find every week. I forgot to take a picture of that on my desktop and bring it with me. So I kind of had to assemble this stuff from memory. So whoops. Also, why is it focus? You son of a bitch! I look like I'm whatever. Anyways, Taos Punk for 10 subs. Did not like that. Did not like me yelling. I'm glad I have to yell in court. Oh, that was not fun. That was not fun. But yes, we'll get in a woo from Clyde. Yes, we get in a woo. I will tell you guys, Clyde is at home at 2.0 and everything's fine. He woos. He's a good boy. He's doing well. Less than 480p, yeah. My ex-wife made my ears hurt, yeah. Oh. So let's see. How are you guys doing? Getting ready for the nice weekend. Say hi to your mom for us since you're there. I will. It's interesting coming back up here. It's a Thursday afternoon and it's like 70 degrees. People run around, they're out doing stuff. Like in Florida, everybody's like bunkered down and everybody's closed up and it's all hot and nasty. So it was very different seeing how everybody, is living their summer right now. Let's see, give everybody another minute here. I need some Xanny, so that's the last thing I need. And I'm glad I drove because think about if I tried to fly with this, it probably would have killed me. Purple Cowcat says irrigation. They gave me some drops. He didn't want me to irrigate it. He wanted me to keep it dry, but he gave me some steroid drops, and I've been putting them in every 12 hours, and I don't hear anything in the ear anymore, so I think that's drying up. Because when he pulled the otoscope out, that the little cone on it, it had all kinds of pus and crud on it, so I think it's okay. And when I clear my ears now, the pressure, I don't feel anything there, so it hurts now. Botox treats TMJ. I did not know that. Wow. Cool. So let's see. The glass of water. Yes, it is a glass of water. If I go swimming before you get an ear infection from future ones, mix half alcohol and half white vinegar and put it in your ear. I may try that. Because I will tell you this much. I don't want to ever have to deal with this again because holy shit. And I don't know what I did. I'm going to go home. We're going to clean out the headsets on the earphones on the computer, everything. So Karen says, you drove? Well, I had to drive. I couldn't fly with this. I would have died. It's only 14 hours. Not that big a deal. But if I'd have flown with this, I would have died. Like, it probably would have ruptured my eardrum or something. And that would have been even worse. In South Carolina, it's 10 p.m. and almost 90 still. Yeah, I don't doubt that. Salt bath, salt water. Well, I need to keep it dry first, but yeah, I may take advantage of that when I get back down. Have I FaceTime Clyde? No, 2.0 has not done that for me. You're happy I'm starting to feel better. Me too. But this morning, my jaw was so stiff. I was trying to talk in court. the magistrate's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "She's like, you're like, it's like you're speaking with a speech impediment. What happened?" And I'm like, I got to get the jaw worked loose. It gets very sore. Okay. Did I just wake up from 1984? Yes, I did. All right, guys. I think we're about ready. It's 10 minutes in. Let's get started. Real quick, we will go ahead. I just want to give you guys an update. We are going to catch up on the Keefe D trial. I was talking with Emily Baker. There's actually quite a bit of good things that have happened. Pretty interesting stuff that's happened as far as witnesses and stuff that's gone on. So Hopefully this weekend we'll catch up and we'll bounce around through the different witnesses. It'll be kind of like how Runkle does it with a catch up. Apparently there's some crazy stuff that happened in the Lindsay Clancy trial. They sent everybody home and they started interviewing jurors. So it sounds like there's a lot of problems there in that case. We'll try to catch up on all that fun stuff here. Just give you guys an idea for the weekend. All right, where's everybody? Oh, and real, where is this? This is interviewing jurors. Yeah, that's sometimes that happens when you voir dire the jurors. Something happened, I guess, where they were getting, like, you have to interview them, and they're talking to one by one. Somebody got exposed to some information, or somebody must have done something to the jury. Something weird happened. I don't know. That I've only been told what I've been told. Like I said, I was busy all day, so sounds like that's interesting, but we'll figure it out. It says, fuck all these trials. What? Yeah, this was never a law channel. How dare we? How dare we? How dare we? Drama is awesome. Well, at times drama can be awesome. At times it can suck. So at times it can suck. And I forgot, and the camera quality, I'm like, I forgot the camera goes on top, and I forgot my mouse. So, so you hate trials now? Well, sorry. They probably heard, yeah, there's like, I get that, people think she's not guilty, like NGRI, but all the women out there, like, standing out there wearing pink, and they're doing this when she drives by and stuff, like, all we're establishing is that white women are insane. Yeah, it's just, so that's what it was. It was about the protesting. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know what it was about. I just knew that there were protesters in there. So, yeah, they're supposedly supporting mental health. What? Their own mental health? They're raising mental health awareness that they're all crazy. So, yeah, don't you got to be careful going out and protesting. Yes, the 19th was a mistake. Yes. Why does your camera look like that? Because it's a laptop camera. It's not the best. So that's why. They brought their babies. Oh my God, that's cringe. That is Le Cringeau. All right, guys, let's get started with the this one's kind of a little bit of a funny thing here. Darth Vader showed up at a city council meeting, and just some of the more flock hilarity that's out there is Darth Vader showed up at the San Diego City Council saying they needed the cameras. And this is actually kind of funny that it's just what the Empire needs. And yeah, it is. And Flock is let me tell you, is taking a beating. And I think it's only getting worse for them. But remember, guys, it's not just Flock. It's Axon. There's many other companies that do it. There are also companies that are, working with Flock that on the Flock poles, they have like Bluetooth and Wi-Fi sniffers and signal sniffers. So it's not just you driving by, but they're hoovering data off of your phone, off of your car, off of your Apple Watch, or whatever it is you may have on. So this is the beginning of welcome to the surveillance war. And just because those cameras are being removed doesn't mean they aren't signing other contracts with other companies. So it's just great. Flock is stopped, but what's the successor going to be? It's kind of like when Obama was running Acorn, the community organizing group. They got found out and shut down. Well, what did they do? Well, they turned into they shifted all the money around. So you guys we have to stay on top of it. You got to keep your eyes peeled on what they're going to do and how this is going to go. And yeah, Axon's new system. Yeah, Axon's got a newer system. It's an even better system. So it's just keep that in mind. This is you finally know where they are and keep the pressure on, but don't let up. Don't let up. Final Revolution says, hey, the guy destroy some cameras in my town last week. No one will snitch on him. I'm proud. That's good. That's good. And Amateur Iconoclast says, the older I get, the more the Empire looks like the good guys. Remember, the Jedi are space ISIS. They have madrasas and they have basically suicide bomb. Like, they're crazy people. They're literally space Al Qaeda. So let's see. I'm sure the data centers being built everywhere and unlimited surveillance have nothing to do with each other. Totally, totally. That's just happenstance. That's just happenstance, man. That's just happenstance. Yeah, you're thinking way too much into this. You're thinking way too much into this. And then this thing here, and I apologize, I'm on the laptop, but it's not doing dark mode properly. I this is pretty funny. This is I've had cases come back fast for trials on verdicts, but this one, when I saw the link to this, I was like, wow, well, I haven't had a murder case come back like that, but eventually it might. So this guy got sentenced to life without parole for murdering his wife, and the jury came back. It's 17 minutes. And that's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. As an old timer once told me, and an older attorney once told me, that if it takes them like 15 minutes or less, they all took long enough to take a leak and then convict your guy. And yeah, that's 17 minutes. They hated your guy that much that they didn't even want to waste time dealing with anything else. And he did it the old-fashioned way. Frederick Spears, well, I mean, true to his name, he stabbed his wife to death. So, yeah, they didn't want the food. They didn't want the food. Yeah, they barely had time to fill out the jury form and take a piss. But yeah, they didn't. I mean, that is pretty impressive. That's a quick turnaround time on that. I'm sure this guy was sitting there thinking, oh, maybe they believed everything I told them. But 17 minutes is fast. I mean, I had one where they came back in like 12 minutes for my guy, but it wasn't for murder. But I was like, damn. The rough part is when they're that short, you're like, I couldn't even do a good enough job to like bullshit. My bullshitting didn't work. That's how bad the facts were. Well, anyways, he stabbed her a bunch of times, and she came outside. His wife came outside. She uttered the final words. They're saying that she likely uttered her final words. What took you so long? Just think about that. Like, what took you so long? And then, seriously though, if somebody's trying to kill you, don't say, I dare you to stab me, or you're not going to do it, or you don't have the balls to do it. No, don't do any of that. Don't do any of that. What took you so long? Like, no, don't challenge that person. If the guy's standing over there with a butcher knife, you're like, I bet that fucker ain't sharp. I bet it's not sharp, huh? You think you could stab me? I bet you can't reach my spleen. No, do not challenge them. Do not challenge people. Yeah. Yeah. Say, and another thing. Yeah, sorry. That's all you got, pussy. Yeah, don't do that. Do not do that. Don't challenge people. I have a feeling he was gonna kill her anyway, but you don't need to give him any more excuse. He might change his mind. Yeah, never tell anybody to do something you don't really want them to do. Yeah. And Three Bears says like take your swing. Yeah. Don't egg people on. Don't egg people on. Oh, I thought it meant she was dying and said, "What took you so long?" Yeah. Like, you're not killing me fast enough. You suck at this. That's the bit. You're getting stabbed to death. You're like, oh, you missed. I'm still alive. Ha 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 ha. And you're dead. It's like, that's not the way. It's not the way you want to go. That's not the way you want to go. I mean, it sounds hilarious, but like, that would have been based. Yeah, like, you missed. That's not fatal. You suck at this. You kind of hope that was the case. I don't know. I really wouldn't want that. That lady probably. Yeah. Do we have any? Speaking of people getting murdered in a strange relationship, so we have Scarlett and Ralph news? No. And honestly, I think they're better. Like, they may like each other and they might go together like white on rice, but like they don't need to be together. It's not good for both of them. So I hope they figure out what they need to do. Yeah, the guy starts stabbing you. Is it in yet? I can't tell. You're just coughing up blood everywhere. Yeah, that would not be the way to go. Let's see here. Do you think it could fit into a suitcase? Well, this lady was 83 pounds, so yeah, I bet she could fit into a suitcase. Yes, 2 out of 10 lamest stabbing ever. Would not recommend. Yeah. You sucked. Your knife was dull. I'm not on Team Scralf, boo. I just, you don't want to see people like get into more trouble and have more problems. So, and look how these things have led to it now at this point. I mean, it's not good for anybody. So yes, the movies tell me if I'm The Rock, I can't lose a fight. Well, there you go. Yeah, I don't recommend you do it, but once again, 17 minutes is really fast for a murder. They didn't even bother sitting down like, oh, we got to make sure this is right. They just like, they all looked at each other. Who thinks he's guilty? They all went like this. Okay, anybody got any second thoughts? No, and a lot of times they'll come back a couple minutes later, do another straw poll, and then they sign the jury forms. It's like, man, they all took turns going to take a leak too. I don't think Texas you have full 8 jurors or full 12 jurors. You have small jurors. You have smaller juries. Oh. Now, moving on to another Texas story. And this one, I'm very disappointed in how like this all turned out. And it was something there was for Carmelo Anthony. I mean, you guys remember Carmelo Anthony was convicted of stabbing Austin Metcalf. And after that trial happened, the judge in that case, Judge Roach, gave a nice big long interview. We watched it here on the show. And he talked about the case. And, you know, the case was still like in appeal mode. There's also Carmelo's team talked about filing post-conviction relief, like things like a motion for a new trial. Well, they ended up doing that, and this judge has already talked, and he's talked publicly and openly about the case. Well, that kind of led to a problem of, well, what are we, like, you know, he should be recused. Now, I know for Judge Roach, there's, you know, he's getting out at the end of the year. Apparently, that's the end of his term. So I get it in a way where you're kind. It's kind of like when he's got senioritis. He's like, fuck, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to me? It's like, what are you gonna do? Shave my head and send me to Iraq? Can't do that. I'm out. So, but anyways, they had to have a hearing on that, and this just seems completely unnecessary. But the judge did not recuse himself initially, so a new judge had to grant the recusal, and a new judge is going to be appointed. And here's Carmelo, like getting ready to get shipped off to prison. You know, I'm sure he looks like he's in pretty good spirits for somebody who just realized that he fucking ruined his life here. But hey, you know, I guess, chat, I guess. But I mean, look at him. He's, you know, you think he'd be crying and bawling his eyes out, but yeah. And KJ's right. Yeah, it's, you know, retired on active duty, pretty much. As far as what he's doing there. So you have that same coffee machine? Oh, yeah. He looks like Jada Pinkett Smith. I mean, that's a little rough too. He looks ready for the cotton fields. Well, if he was in Louisiana and he got sent to Angola, they do farm down at the Louisiana State Penitentiary, but he's not going there. He's in the Texas penal system. So they are, you know, on Wednesday they got the judge removed and they got recused. And ultimately, it makes sense. He shouldn't have done that. And yes, you know, they were hopefully having some more information was going to be heard. There was stuff that has not been, you know, they claim there was some other testimony that may not have been included or should have been included. But it has not been, I don't think this was even aired publicly, so we don't know everything that occurred. Let me see here. Yeah. Katie says, you look black. Well, thank you. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but yes, Carmelo's trying to get a new trial. I don't think that's really going to go anywhere for him. Remember, guys, when you're trying to get a new trial, see, that's the neat part about being in the kitchen. I just turn around and get more water. High quality H2O. There's got to be new evidence that comes in, and it's not just like, oh, this is something that came up, we found. It's generally things you didn't have at the time or didn't know at the time. If it's something his attorneys didn't do, where they looked at it and they said, hey, here's a piece of evidence. Yeah, we don't want it. We don't want to use it. That's not generally how you get to use new trial to get a new, new evidence to get a new trial. It's generally newly discovered stuff or things of that nature. I mean, there's sometimes it'll be deviations in state law, but generally speaking, it's new stuff that would have changed maybe how you did things. Doesn't have to guarantee that it would have changed the outcome of the trial, because at the end of the day, even for ineffective assistance to counsel, you don't have to prove that it would have changed it, but it had a reasonable probability it would have changed it. It's just, is that enough of a factor? So we'll find out what that is here. Hopefully we do soon. And we'll come up with some, and once that is out there, we'll take a look at it. Cleveland poop water. This is not Cleveland water. I can tell you that much. It's tap water. It's rural water. I'm fine. From the Rural Water Authority. They had a gentleman's agreement. So, when does the cooking stream start later? Is it well water? No, not well water. It's rural water. So, well, the county might get it out of a well, but yeah. So there's the updates. I know some people wondering about what's going on, Carmelo Anthony. We don't know yet. We don't know fully what evidence has been presented, but we will take a look and see what happens there. Now, getting to the big stuff. Here. Luigi Mangione. Luigi Mangione, the murderer of the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, is he pled out. We talked about this last Thursday, and ultimately we know that he's not going to get the death penalty. Federal judge already ruled that out. New York, he's not facing that. He faces up to life in prison for everything he's done so far in federal court, and he can get 25 to life on the state charges for murder. And remember, Luigi took a pistol with a silencer on it, a 3D printed pistol, mainly the Glock frame. I think he used Chairman Wan's 3D printed Glock setup, which if you haven't found it, that's a good one to use. Walked up to Brian Thompson and just, and you guys saw it. We've seen the footage before. We've seen that beautiful, beautiful bean footage. And, you know, he got caught eventually. We went through the suppression evidence and all that went on there about what they were able to suppress. Ultimately, it's the gun, and some of his statements still came in, so Luigi's screwed at the level in New York. But federally, the case was chugging along and getting ready for trial, and Luigi tapped out. He entered a plea. Luigi entered a plea to the charges. He did not enter a plea as part of a negotiated settlement. He just entered a plea. It's basically what's called an open plea. And I know some people were emailing me and messaging me asking me what that means. An open plea is basically where you enter a plea to the charges and you argue sentence. There's no agreed upon sentence. There's nothing agreed to. You're just saying, I'm pleading guilty to the charges that are there, and I'm going to ask for my time, and you can ask for your time. There's been no agreement to get to a stipulated sentence, and get into that. Real quick, James Cases, are we covering Lindsay Clancy still? We're going to bounce back to Lindsay Clancy, but remember, like I said from the start, I really wanted to cover the Tupac trial. Lindsay started first, so we were going to cover it. We'll get back to Lindsay, and we'll touch on Lindsay this weekend too, okay? So that's why. We'll touch on Lindsay a little bit this weekend. We'll cover Dr. Zeisel and some of the prosecution's cringe, because that's really the big stuff left. But Luigi did end up last Friday admitting to what he did, and he was in federal court, and he showed up in federal court, and he confessed to everything. He confessed to what he did. And he said, I understood my actions to place him in fear of death or great bodily injury. And he says, I knew what I was doing was illegal. And that's what's going to happen here. Like, the judge made him allocute, like the whole thing. He talked about what he did. He had to discuss everything he did. And this is Brian Thompson, the guy he killed. And yeah, so Luigi wasn't able to get, didn't change the system at all. So good job, Luigi. But anyways, he claimed that, he'd been suffering injuries from a broken back, and he wanted to make United Healthcare pay for what was going on. And, he just this sounds like Hassan Piker was involved. This sounds just like pure Hassan here. And he said, the mission is to make healthcare better for everyone. And he said with a fairly steady voice, he then laid out what he did to lure Brian Thompson around. He said he's a 3D printer to make parts of the gun, to which he equipped a silencer and a magazine. I'm just like, well, it's a pistol. It needs a magazine. I love how they included that, though. It is funny, though. This is very Reddit-y, but he emailed United Healthcare saying, he's part of a investor at a hedge fund with $50 billion in assets. And he wanted information and prospectus. And he says, unlike my previous interactions with the insurance company, I received an immediate response within an hour. I probably want to press X to doubt on that. But yeah, this is very Reddit-y of him. And, even then, this is what he ended up getting to, though. They talked about, pleading to the 2 counts of stalking resulting in death, and he said guilty. So Luigi has pled guilty, faced up to life in prison. Remember, there's a lot of problems that Luigi has to face with the federal sentencing system. We've talked about it before with the federal sentencing guidelines. There's all kinds of things that cover this chart, and for Luigi, he's going to be pretty high up on this chart to start with that they use. Oh, why is this one all blurry? Come on. Oh, I hate this when it does that. Here we go. So this is the federal sentencing guidelines. This is done a little bit differently, but this is what you look at when you're coming to how do you sentence someone in federal court. And then each one of these zones has offense levels, and then you have criminal histories. Luigi doesn't really have a criminal history, but he did things like he committed a violent crime. He used a firearm in commission of that crime. He used a silencer, which that ups things a lot. When you use silencers, automatic weapons, destructive devices, basically NFA items, those enhance things for you. And, Luigi's going to scoot all the way down this thing to the higher end of the scale. Even if he enters a plea and you get points off for accepting responsibility, there's a lot of issues for him that he's going to face. So Luigi's got a lot of problems here that he's going to deal with. And he's going to be very high on this thing. He's going to be very high up the scale. We'll see how low he gets. But even then, if you're looking, 210 months, for example, 210 months, that's still a lot of time. 210 months to 262 months. Just look at that. Remember, 10 years is 120 months. 2 years is 20 years is 240 months. So there's a ton of time in these. There's a ton of time you face in these. 360 is 30 years. I mean, this gets very serious very fast. Now, Luigi's got something. There's some tactical considerations on why he did this. And it's something to keep in mind is that the state of New York has a very, very liberally construed double jeopardy standard. Many states, they'll say, sorry, dual sovereigns, you can be tried, by both sovereigns. New York, the state of New York, though, it's got a very liberal, very, very liberal double jeopardy statute and double jeopardy holding, and it's viewed the way it is. So Luigi's got a lot that he can do here, and as soon as he filed this and entered his plea, and you guys can see here, this was filed on August 14th at 11:53 a.m. So basically, as Luigi has, and this is, you're like, well, does that mean they planned this? Yes, they entirely planned this. As soon as Luigi entered his plea in federal court, somebody was standing there ready to enter this into the system and get this file stamped and get it going. So this totally was what was going to happen here. Now, what are they hoping to do here? They're hoping to crush this at the state court level and avoid things there. So they're trying to do what they can about this. So they're trying to dismiss the remaining counts for second-degree murder, because that is the thing he's facing right now. That's really the biggest stuff there. And they say, pursuant to the guilty plea in federal court to intentionally causing death through stalking. And they're saying that, this violates the Fifth Amendment due process rights. And yeah, they're arguing that he is protected under this. Now, it's just 35 pages, guys. We are not going to go through all of this. But they point out that they're arguing ultimately that the federal court case is going to consume it under New York law. And that they want to go through all of this and they want to take it and move along. Now, remember, there were going to also be competing issues of which case would go first. New York State was wanting to try their case first, and the feds were wanting to try their case first. And it looked like the New York State one might go first, or the federal one might go first. And it was going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on that. This kind of takes everything out of the way. The New York case was set to begin in September. Well, that's not happening now. The judge has actually postponed it until December at the earliest. And that's just, they're probably going to be a pretrial at that point to figure out what are we actually doing. Because this has come up now, and this is a serious enough issue, they're going to need some time to figure it out. So for right now, Luigi's kind of up in the air. Will he get away? Will he be able to skate on the New York stuff? It's very possible. It's very possible. And this is a very well put together. They point out that there are no real exceptions that apply. I have not had the chance to read through all of this, guys. That's just because I've been a little busy. We'll probably go over this here coming up. But yeah, Luigi has an opportunity to, maybe beat the New York charges, only face the federal ones. And for the federal government, he may not get a life. He might not get life. He might get something less than life, which, for him allows him to, get out at some point when he still has a chance at a life. And, Luigi Mangione is only at this point now 28. And he's been in custody for over a year now, almost a year and a half. So whatever he gets, he's got a year and a half down on. So he'll get out soon enough that any of these women out there wanting to marry him still might marry him. And then you got to figure out what you're going to do. So it is going to be very interesting to see how this shakes out. What are you guys? He's only 20. He's 28. So much older. No, he's 28. He is 28. So let's see here. Got some comments to catch up on one of you guys. Torgo the White says he's out of focus. He's blurry. I know. I don't know. Come on, focus. 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 Focused. Thank you, Torgo. Bob Tubes, am I streaming from Nick's house? No. No. Why are you streaming from a safe house? Why not? Why not? Why aren't you? The River Runner says, how are you liking Florida? Overall, liking it a lot. 2.0's loving it. Loving her job. Everything, it's going really good down there. Going really, really good. It's been a lot of fun. I'm sure we'll like it even better when it gets to be November and we're still walking around in shorts and a t-shirt. And then VTubing Enthusiast for $5 says, today marks my 6-year anniversary of getting sober from pills. Congratulations. I'm still on my journey towards self-determination. At least I know I am now more free. Well, congratulations on that. Probably wasn't easy, but my hat's off to you. You were able to do something a lot of people can't do. Not through any fault of their own. Sometimes that stuff is tough. So congrats on beating it, and congrats on staying in front of it. Just keep at it. And glad you made it out of there. And glad they didn't take you. Glad you beat them. So congrats, V2. Let's see here. What else we got? And here's the, many, like 6 decades more. I won't just say 6 more years, but here's to another 6 years, man. Cheers. So we'll see. An alligator hurricane. Jeez. That sounds worse than a Sharknado. Sounds worse than a Sharknado. All right, guys. So that's Luigi's saga right now. We don't know all of what's going to happen there, but it's let's see here. Leave that. Leave this. Okay. I am trying to get to some other stuff here. Okay. This is done. All right, guys. Yeah, well, you're going to have a short night tonight. I was going a little shorter than I thought I was going to be. My apologies here. Okay, so Jill Stein. I didn't know about this. When people sent me this, I thought it was a joke. You're so up close. Yes, you guys are. Guys, Jill Stein, former U.S. presidential candidate, apparently has a warrant out for her arrest. And I'm like, what did she do? What did she do? I mean, I doubt she was on Epstein Island, but what exactly did she do that's a problem other than being a commie? Well, apparently she was at a university rally protesting Israel and wanting, for some reason she was advertising that Palestine was free. Remember, guys, free Palestine with the purchase of Palestine of equal or greater value. But she was telling everybody about how it's free. I'm sure if you go over there right now, it's not free. They won't let you take it. But apparently it is from the river to the sea. That's a lot of land. But she was involved in a protest that was going on regarding that in the lead up to the election in April 2024. And it's very funny because this, I wouldn't expect, you see the Jill Stein, you wouldn't expect her to do this. But anyways, they were protesting the Palestine conflict, and as they came up to her, they were told to disperse and they'd be arrested for trespassing. And they all held their arms together and were interlinked. And as they approached on a bicycle, she grabbed their bicycles and started fighting with the cops, which good for her. I mean, that's the one thing I will say about somebody like her. She understands a civil disobedience means you're getting arrested and going to jail. I'm sure she took her pinch like a man. I mean, this picture of her getting arrested away, you could see her. She's taking her pinch like a man. She's not crying. She's not getting dragged along. She understands civil disobedience is disobedience, and you're going to get arrested. That's the goal. That's the job. And she did it. So she got charged with trespassing and assault. And she is now currently out on the lam. So she apparently kicked the cops a bunch of times. And she gave the cop a groin injury, which means she probably kicked him in the balls, which, even though she may be a commie, I'm giving you, you get points for kicking a cop in the balls. So good for her. Good for her on that. Yes. Omerta. Yes. Yes, that is something there. Yes, Stein 2028. Well, Alex Stein, maybe, not Jill Stein. Have I listened to the Trump Michael Cohen interview? No. And honestly, if part of that interview didn't end with Ground Branch coming in and just blackbagging Michael Cohen and taking him away, I'm not really interested in wanting to hear it. Michael Cohen's a fucking rat. So fuck him. And I don't know why Trump's even willing to talk to him. Michael Cohen's just a cheese-eating rat. I mean, who narcs on what kind of attorney narcs on your client like that? You got to keep that shit real and take it with you. I have no sympathy for somebody like Michael Cohen. Yeah, that's the thing. She's going to get away because nobody knows who she is. She's probably laying low in a safe house right now, and everywhere she goes, she puts her collar up and wears a fedora real low and has sunglasses on, and she's like, nobody knows who I am. People are like, who the fuck is that lady? She was really nice. Who was that lady? That nice lesbian lady. She's gonna join Styx, yes. Still performative to compete with the DSA in 28. That would be hilarious if she did. She's got more street cred than they do. Yeah, she saved Palestine, totally. Yes, just like Luigi, she saved it and collapsed the system. Are you assuming the cop had balls? Well, yeah, I'm assuming so. R.L. Stein. I've heard that guy I heard that guy's kind of weird. Although when you write all the Goosebumps books, you gotta be a little weird. Gotta be a little weird. I remember reading all those. Some of those are creepy. Can lawyers be punished for breaking attorney-client privilege? Yes, you can be disciplined by your bar if you break it and you don't have authorization to. Or you don't have a justification. There are times where we've talked about this. An attorney can break attorney-client privilege to protect themselves in front of proceedings and tribunals. Well, if you just go out there and you just start blabbing about everything your client tells you, Yeah, that can be you can be sanctioned for that. You can be disbarred for that. Generally speaking, though, if word gets out that you don't keep your fucking mouth shut, that's kind of a death knell for your practice because who's going to trust an attorney who's a chatty fucking Cathy? You know, especially if you go online when you get plastered and you start talking about what people have confided in you. That's not good look, man. That's not a good look. It's not, or you disclose like maybe improperly obtained messages and things like that aren't yours to leak. Yeah, I mean, who's going to trust you? Who wants to deal with you? I don't know. I don't know, man. Just something to think about. But yes, your ability to keep confidence is one of the most critical things you have as an attorney. And that's one of the few things that attorneys in the United States enjoy, that this idea of attorney-client privilege. In some countries that doesn't exist. Like, I think in Japan, that's not a thing. Parts of Asia, that's not a thing. Even in Europe, it's a very limited protection. But here, it's something that underpins and is the foundation of American legal practice. So yes, whoa, buddy. Yes, just don't leak. 100%. You just got to keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut and take your pinch like a man. Yeah, he was disbarred for having a felony, so not even punished for being a narc. Well, yeah, but that's a separate issue. They could disbar him and punish him for the felony. That's more than enough. But there are attorneys who have been sanctioned for violating privilege, breaching it. Carmen Sandiego. Yeah, I remember her too. Carmen Sandiego in modern day, they wouldn't have, like the game Carmen Sandiego, you wouldn't have tracked her down. It's like you would have triangulated her and she would have got drone striked or something. Territory says, what did I do to go back to Ohio? I had to come back up for court, so I'm going back down. Katie says, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I don't know, but like I said, she would have gotten drone striked or like DevGru or, like Ground Branch or, Special Activities Division would have come after her and black bagged her. So Bob says that's an Ohio kitchen I've ever seen one. Not true. There's not any of that yellowed oak, that yellow tinged oak that got with the weird shellac staining on it on here. These are white doors. White. Yes, I played that game on floppies too. Yes, Carmen Sandiego tricked you into learning. Me too. So, yes, tier 1 assets will find her. Go say hi to Anna and Michelle. I drove by them. I drove by where they live, like their town, earlier today. But I'm all the way past it. I'm not going back over that way. So, all right. Now, moving on from there, guys. Moving on. We enough chit chatting on that. This is one of these times where you're just like, okay, it doesn't seem real, but it's 100% real what happened. This seems like you're like, how this seems like it's almost a plot to like 22 Jump Street or 23 Jump Street. It's a cocaine ring at Penn State University. And when I heard about this, that these fraternities were involved in trafficking cocaine, all I was thinking to myself is, please don't be Phi Delts. 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 And I only say that because I'm a member of Phi Delta Theta fraternity, and they just got their charter back a couple of years ago at Penn State for like haze after they lost it for a while for hazing and shit. And I'm just like, oh my God, please don't be the Phi Delts. Please don't be the Phi Delts. It's not the Phi Delts. It's not the Phi Delts. Thank God. But instead, this is a very interesting thing here. These guys were on campus and at Penn State. They were doing there's a cocaine trafficking ring, and it was going on through 2023 and 2024. And it was at the Delta Upsilon, so DU. I think they're the and then Sigma Chi, which, we didn't have DU on my camps. We had Sigma Chi, but those guys, the Sigma Chi's when I went to school, were not the type of dudes you suspected of doing coke or running coke. Although this is crazy, though. A lot of them are people who are in the fraternity. So it's two separate fraternities working together to package and sell coke. And in a place like Penn State, the fraternities are going to be huge. These are going to be like 100-man plus chapters. And I think that's weird because where I was at, our chapter was like 30 guys. But like these state schools like that are huge fucking chapters. And these two chapters work together, it sounds like, doing coke and trafficking coke together. And that's just, you think you'd keep that to yourself and rely on your own inner brotherhood. But yeah, I guess, that pan Greek cooperation, that, collaboration between the fraternities, like it's the Interfraternity Drug Trafficking Council, the IFC, the Interfraternity Cartel. But there are a bunch of other students charged, and it's weird because apparently, like, the pledges were involved in this. So imagine that you're a pledge for this fraternity, and part of your job is like, well, you guys have seen shows like you have to stand there. They make the women stand there in their underwear doing like packaging the coke. They make the pledges stand there in their underwear, and part of their job is like start churning out bags of coke and processing all of it. Like, I had to do a lot of dumb shit when I was a pledge in a fraternity. But, like, I never had to do that. I remember there was one guy, it could be worse. It could be the child, yes, EDW. It could be the football program hiding a child diddler, yes. Yeah, this is, it could be worse. It could be worse at Penn State. But yeah, that's some of their hazing is like, yeah, that's part of it too. You made these balloons. Now you have to eat these balloons, and you have to take these balloons to well, you won't be going to Miami because the coke comes through Miami. But like, yes, you're hopping on an airplane in Kansas City to meet guys at the other chapter. You're gonna have to give them your balloons. It's like, fuck. That's a rough fraternity thing there. This is just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous there. I do the elephant walk. I had to do no such gay thing. Yes, apparently these guys did have funny names like Pablo Pledge-Kabar. They had some really funny names. That's a pretty clever one. But yeah, it's so ridiculous. And when you hear this story, are they future engineers for Caltech? Yeah, that is they're funny. That's very true. They're the reason why Caltech came out with everything it's come out with. Yes, Coffee Cat. Yep, you're like, this is Brother Escobar. He is an alumni. You will show him all the courtesy and respect he's entitled to. I remember that. I remember when I was a pledge and we had a like homecoming. That was definitely something else. Really. Panhellenic is what he's looking for. No, Panhellenic is sororities. The Panhellenic Council were sororities. IFC, the Interfraternity Cartel, is fraternities. Then there's like the NPHC, the National Panhellenic Council, which is like the black groups, and they have fraternities and sororities on their things. Then there's like there's like four Greek governing bodies. I forget the other two because I don't really have to worry about them too much. But yeah, it's just very interesting on this, how this all worked out. Ag Biochemist says, so fan whiteouts were a foreshadowing. Yeah. Sigma Chi on our campus graffitied racial slurs on the sidewalk of their black neighbors and misspelled them. See, the Sigma Chi's were at my chapter were like, or where I was at, Bowling Green, were pretty, like, they were okay guys. We didn't really have any, like, there weren't really any, like, dickhead groups. So, like, things were actually pretty calm. Like the fucking betas were gone off campus, and somebody's like, "Wait, there's a fraternity called betas." Yeah, Beta Theta Pi. I don't know why Phi Delts hate betas, but apparently, when I went to our national convention when I was a sophomore, I got to meet guys from all over the country, and they all fucking hated betas, and I don't know why. But apparently, it's our thing. So, but yeah, that's something I expect the betas to do. Could be Michigan State abusing USA gymnasts for 20 years. Yeah. So we know the Bloods and the Crips. Yeah. Omega well, it's PSI. So Sean is stereotyping again. Well, it's what I do. Barnes got felt today on X after his Alex Jones appearance. Really interesting. I'll have to go look for it. Let's see here. No Hella raid. Oh, well, hi, Hella, if you're here. We had guys draw 1940 poop signs on bathroom stalls. Yeah, the poop swastikas. Clippy says, now I'm just picturing frat boy Sean. I had a lot of fun in it. I had a lot of fun, made a lot of friends. Two of my closest friends are from there. Probably my two best friends are from then. It was a lot of fun times. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. We need a frat boy Sean photo. If my Facebook wasn't gone, you could probably find them. But yeah. But this gets even better, though, guys. It gets even better because this is the story of how these guys got caught. And this is this is so fucking ridiculous. I can't believe this actually happened. And this is from the New York Post. And just listen to this.
A Penn State frat bro is facing some serious drug charges after cops picked him up for allegedly running a cocaine crime ring out of his fraternity house. And you're not going to believe the boneheaded mistake that cops say got the suspect caught.
It's not a boneheaded mistake. It's just, yeah.
In 2023, police in State College were tipped off to the alleged drug ring by an informant who said a guy going by the nickname T-Rob was selling a whole lot of cocaine on campus through the Delta Upsilon frat house. Now, T-Rob, it turns out, was less drug kingpin and more pinhead because the informant also told cops that T-Rob accepted payment for the illegal drugs through Venmo using the name Tom Robinson. It didn't exactly take a lot of detective.
I say this all the time. These things are tattle machines. They are tattle machines. Well, yes, they're Venmoing and selling fucking... And I guarantee you, there are people who are dumb enough to type in some of those things. Thanks for the drugs, bro. Thanks for the snow. And just holy shit. It just...
Nigga, is you taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy? What the fuck is you thinking, man?
Yeah, and I'm sure that the funny thing is thinking about that with the New Day Co-op, because the fraternities use parliamentary procedure to run their chapter meetings. I bet they had chapter meetings where they talk it wouldn't surprise me they're talking about the cocaine in their chapter meetings. If some guy's using the pledges and they're bagging cocaine in the chapter house, there's probably new agenda items will Tom please clean the cocaine out of the chapter dining room? I want to be able to eat in there from time to time. And then there's or point of order. That should be new business. And then they have a vote on it and there's division. Oh my God, I can only think about how retarded that got at times. The pledges are spilling Coke all over the place. I'm betting that they didn't want to do that so they didn't get hazed. Do you think the basement looks like that body cam we saw? Maybe. Call the house dad. He can explain. Oh well, we're gonna get to that. Somebody, you are like, you were actually even funnier than that. Oh, it gets better. It gets better, Shredder S 07. It gets better. Here you go, man. One of their kids' dads is an attorney, was charged. So he also got indicted. He got indicted for evidence tampering and concealing evidence and obstructing the investigation. So he's an attorney and he got in trouble with it. He's the only non-student to face charges. Oh my God. He concealed evidence. He hid stuff, including drugs and cash. Just ridiculous. That is very interesting in how that happened and how this all worked out. But yeah, so the attorney, he's at a pretty decent sized firm, and going to bat for your kids here is just absolutely ridiculous. Like helping hide your kids' drug trafficking. So when the kid's like, my dad's a lawyer. My dad runs a dealership. My dad owns a dealership. Did you know that? But yes, the house dad will come fix it all. What song got the bench struck? I don't know. Probably Freebird. V2 says point of personal privilege. No, I'm talking about parliamentary procedure. That's that privilege there. Although, could you bring that personal privilege? So I just, he's a legacy. Yes, he's a legacy. Yes. I am 4th generation at this fraternity. Let's see here. Yes, it's because they touched the pledge's hair as part of the one night they had to all walk along the actives, and the actives would rub cocaine in their hair. Yeah. Oh my God, yes. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh. Also, real quick, guys, hold on. Why is this not working? My kick just went down. Oh, come on. It's not crashing like Worski and PPP last night, but we got some stuff going. Sean Sandwich Sundry for 10 subs. There we go. Let's fucking go, chat. Let's fucking go. Rocket Raccoon for 50 kicks. Thank you. It was all going, then it all died. So, but yes, we actually have like legitimate subs. Now we are monetized over on Kick. Not in the incentive program, but I got to figure that out next. Yeah, that's the thing. Cash is king when it comes to avoiding government tracking, but these kids don't own cash. So they just Venmo shit along. Because that's how they were raised. I can't blame them. These kids Venmo everything now. So, yes, big fucking support. Yes, it is Cyber Chud. Thank you. Oh. But yes, I thought this was hilarious. I hope there's more that comes out about what we need to see Sean gambling on kick boss man style. No, if I'm gonna gamble, I need to be like that dude they watch where he's out there doing like 5-card stud or whatever they're calling it, Texas Hold'em, whatever he's playing out there. Just throwing out money in the French casinos. Victor. That's the right guy, Victor. Yeah, I'd love to see that. I'll go gamble IRL. That'll be fun. No, I saw that and I'm just like, when I was in the fraternity, we didn't do shit like that. People did some things, but nothing ever that bad. I do know that the 1 year for Greek week when we got paired up with the one sorority, one of the old timers showed up, one of the alums showed up, and he was back in the day. And he came in with this composite, and composites for fraternity and sororities are all those big composite pictures of everybody in it. And it was the sororities composite from like 1973 to 1974. And he brought in, he's like, I heard you guys were doing you're paired up with them for Greek week. Put this on your wall and see if they notice. And we're like, where did you get this from? And he's like, oh, I fucking stole it in 1974. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, I had a girlfriend there at the time. And we, he's like in the middle of Greek week. It's like, we just came in and I fucking yanked it off the wall and took it. And nobody ever found out about it. So we had it sitting there and they eventually, they saw it like at the end of the week, they finally realized it was sitting there. And it was like, they knew that one was missing. It was part of their sorority's lore that they've had missing composites, and that was one that got stolen, and they found it back. So it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Venmo if they're white, Cash App if they're black. See, that's what I want to know. Do the black fraternity, like Alpha Phi Alpha, do they use fucking Cash App instead of Venmo? It's like Sigma Chi. It's like we use Venmo, bro, not Cash App. Oh, that's very funny. WMMA scene. I love that. That is so funny there. My fraternity had a meth lab in the basement. No. We were pretty calm. Most, like I said, a lot of the fraternities were pretty cool where I was at. Usually to save previous year's test. Yeah, that was something. We had a little bit of a test bank put together. We also had collections of notes. Like I made my notes available for people for political science and history. So I made sure everybody had stuff and, would go through things. So yeah, it was pretty helpful. It was, it was kind of fun that way. It was a foamer fraternity. No. Shuki says, as an OSU alum, I'm very disappointed we didn't have the biggest coke bust in the Big Ten. Well, there you go. I guess you got to go talk to your you need to motivate Ohio State to do better now. Sean will put his Cash App in the description for some reason. That's the Zell Master Race, that too. Yeah, my Cash App's Sean No Pants. That's my mafia name. No Pants Sean. Yes, that's very correct. Sean Sandwich Sundry for Rage Quit for 500 kicks says, Sean's frat only did Pervitin on study nights. No, but I do remember when one of my fraternity brothers, he had to get a paper going, and it was like a 70-page paper from one of his business classes. And he took I don't know if it was due the next day or the day after. or something. I forget, but it was the deadline was right there, and he had an Adderall he got a hold of, and I'm like, well, what are you gonna do with that? And he took it, and he took the book that was sitting there, and he went boom right onto it, and he busted a fucking rail of it, and I'm like, okay, well, good luck with that, and I went off to go do stuff. It was like 8:00 at night. And I came back into the because we had a little computer room, and the college gave each they had 3 computers that they gave each fraternity or sorority house. So it was like 2 Dells and an Apple. And I come back in, and he's just sitting there, and he's just staring at the screen. And I don't know what else he took, but he was just sitting there staring at the flashing icon in fucking Word. He hadn't done anything for a couple hours. I think he took a couple more of them or something, but yeah, and then he finally he got it done. He got it done. So 70 pages. Yeah, I think so. It was something like that. I know it was a lot of I didn't know. It said something like that. I don't really remember the whole story. It was something like that, 50, 70 pages. I don't know. I didn't do all that gay shit. I did history and political science. They were just you had to do a paper on something, and it was reasonable. Do we have pledge names? Not really. They might give you a nickname, but that was kind of it. But not for the most part. Not for the most part. So let's see here. I didn't have a nickname. I didn't have one there. So, Lou says history and political science isn't gay shit. No, it's not. Not compared to fucking business administration classes and business classes in general. That shit's gay and retarded. So, 70 pages for a business class is unreasonable. Well, I don't know what it was all about. I never took a business class, so I didn't have to. Giving us your Clint Eastwood look, yeah. Giving you blue steel. I did know somebody who's doing architecture stuff, and he was doing shit all the time, all the things they had to build and all the supplies they had to use to build stuff. It's crazy what those guys had to do. Is this the stream Mama Criminal watches? We need to ask her for Sean's nickname. I didn't have a fraternity nickname, so yeah, you're gonna have to deal with that. All right, now moving on from here, guys, we have we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and it's going on a very fast track. It's almost like this is wanting to be hidden from everybody. But Anthony Fauci's assistant and advisor was indicted for tampering with records and hiding FOIA requests and hiding documents to avoid FOIA. Huh. He's already entering a plea. This is getting fast-tracked. It's almost like we're trying to sweep this under the rug. Isn't it? Just a little bit? Yeah, I think so. You guys remember this guy's David Marens? He is one of Fauci's people. He is, conspiracy to defraud the United States by concealing records about COVID. And these guys hid this stuff because what did it show? It showed they were screwing around. So he helped do this. Now, obviously, he didn't, if it's a conspiracy. Well, what did he end up pleading to? Well, here's what he ended up pleading to, guys. He ended up pleading to one count of the indictment, which is conspiracy to commit offenses and to defraud the United States. You're like, okay. Well, who did he enter the conspiracy with? Probably Anthony Fauci, but we don't have that information. And that's not going to be known, but it doesn't have to be because they could just be an unindicted co-conspirator. But anyways, it's conspiracy under 18 U.S.C. 371. And he helped at least one other person, Anthony Fauci, to defraud the United States. And he joined the conspiracy. So what is he looking at? A maximum prison sentence of up to 5 years, but he is eligible for probation. He's probably going to get probation. Sadly, that's what his plea terms are. He may have to do restitution. All the things that are out there, guys. He's waiving his rights to trial, waiving anything he would do there, but pleading guilty. He's giving up and admitting that he fully completed this offense, an entirely thing here. They're going through and they're talking about that the base level of this is 14, and that's where we talked about previously with the sentencing guidelines. And the sentencing guidelines start off with, okay, he's at a base level 14. Now, presumably, this guy doesn't really have a criminal record. So we start off at 14. And from there, we start opening it up. Hold on here, chat. Why is this not... There we go. It was so fuzzy, and I like it when it's not fuzzy. Okay, so why did that not do it? Come on, you son of a bitch. Okay, so we start off with he's at a level of 14. So when you get to 14, you're already into Zone C. When you're in Zone C, you're already looking at 15 to 21 months. This is kind of where Diddy started out right here. So what's he agreeing to? Well, he's agreeing to a couple different things as far as what's going on here. So he's agreeing that there's a upward departure of 2 pursuant because it was part of the scope and planning and preparation. There's another 2 level upward adjustment because he abused a position of public trust. Now, he did enter a plea. He's accepting responsibility. So he's eligible for a 2-point reduction. So instead of going up 2 more points, or a total of 4 more points, he's only possibly going up to 2, which puts him here at 16, 21 to 27 months. You're like, okay, not too bad. Not too bad. The laptop mouse is annoying. Yeah, well, I hate using the pads. I hate using the pads. Was this the cutout email account guy for Fauci? Yes. Yes, this is him. And I have the feeling if there's a Democrat president, this guy's going to get pardoned like fucking ASAP. So he's got those he's looking at there. They also agree to make, and this is where it gets interesting, they are going to make another 1-point level decrease because of his intention to enter a plea of guilty timely, and he didn't wait till the last minute. Now, they may change their mind if he doesn't do it right or he jerks everybody around at his sentencing. There's no agreement to his criminal history, but he probably has no criminal history, honestly. So he probably still qualifies as somebody with 0 points. He's waiving his appeal, and these things aren't really important here. The biggest thing is, and this is signed by him and his attorneys, what's actually really important here is the stipulation of facts. So this is what he's actually agreeing to factually. That on March 13th, Corona was going on and everything happened here. So him plus co-conspirator 1 and 2, who I'm willing to bet are probably Fauci and David Daszak, the guy who ran Eco Health Alliance, or at least some of these other people who deserve to, get black bagged in a fucking JSOC op one night. So anyways, he went on with this and they started obstructing things involving FOIA and the Federal Records Act. And remember, they're government agents, so everything they do, their phones, their text messages, their emails, are all seen by FOIA and the Federal Records Act. That's why we see routinely people who get caught the Trump administration, the Biden administration, the Obama administration, using Google, things that aren't necessarily there. And if you do use your Google account, you're supposed to basically forward that email onto your own account. So now it's documented that it's there. But he did everything he could to obstruct and hide things in this, and did it routinely. And while he did this, he was a captain in the United States Public Health Service, which means, if you guys don't understand, that is a military, there's a branch of the U.S. military. You hold military rank. But yes, he, which makes me wonder if he could technically get court-martialed too. That would be hilarious. But yes, he intentionally covered things up. And this is the president-in-chief of Company One, what's a nonprofit, from emerging infectious diseases. So, yeah, it sounds like that's EcoHealth Alliance. And you know what you could do? Well, you could go to the grant numbers, and I think we checked these out. This was EcoHealth Alliance. But yes, they were trying to hide that they were understanding the risk of bat coronavirus emergence. And where was this all going on at? The Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan, China. Oh, so it really was the China virus. Yeah. Philip Calkins is correct. They're not military, but a uniformed service. They know military authority. Oh, yeah, over anybody else, no, but within their own structure, they do. Yeah, Logitech wireless track. I left the wireless mouse at home. So it's weird I'm saying I left it at home and I'm in Ohio. But no, I left it in Florida. So that was a problem here. So yes, thank you for that, Philip. That's a correction. I appreciate that. But think about this. They're covering up, we can't talk about these grants. Why? Co-conspirator number 2 was a scientist that also received grant monies from NIH, but not for the coronavirus grant. But they're involved in a grant application relating to infectious disease research filed in June 2019 and awarded by the NIH in the summer of 2020. Oh. So they talk about how do they avoid FOIA and the FRA. So what do they do? Well, he was not to use personal email accounts. And it says that records were only considered personal files if it weren't used to conduct agency business. So if it wasn't for agency business, yeah, that wouldn't be a thing. But he was doing agency business. So all of that should have been documented. And that should have been for everything. His emails, his communications. If he had a phone, he was texting. It should be all done on the government phone. This record retention shit is very important. Lesser people would have probably been hammered hard or lost their jobs or all kinds of things. And what happens is FOIA requesters could and had sued the HHS, NIH, and NIAID for the documents. And, these were being unlawfully withheld because they existed, but they weren't covered and they weren't protected. So they talk about suspending, then terminating the bat coronavirus grants. That there was, these grants are being terminated. And, they tried to hide these things. They tried to challenge all this stuff that had gone on, that these grants had not been awarded. And they started a conspiracy, and they're saying, this is set for we talked about this already too, but it's set for my Gmail account. There are things I can't say except senior NIAID official is widely believed Fauci is aware, and I've learned there are ongoing facts to steer this through with minimal damage to you guys. And remember, we talked about this before. We'll communicate with you on Gmail from now on. These fucking worms. Once again, this is where JSOC, let's let the Saber squadrons roll up on these dudes on a little bird and just black bag them. These guys need to be held accountable for what they did to America, what they did to the world. They did everything they could to hide stuff. They controlled work product. They controlled the records that went through the NIH to influence company. It's a fun company one. all the stuff about this, everything that happened. They concealed, removed, and destroyed federal records. And it's funny because this is the only guy who's going to face anything for this. This is just like somebody mentioned earlier, Kevin Kleinsmith over in the DOJ. This is just like Kevin Kleinsmith. They were fabricating warrants. They did all this stuff. And what happened? What happened? One guy got in trouble. He never went to jail for it. They got caught lying on warrants. One guy got in trouble. He never even got disbarred. He's an attorney. Got caught fabricating a warrant. The only person, apparently. This guy is the only person who's getting involved in this, is facing any charges. I mean, you love to see somebody getting held accountable, but nobody else is ever going to get held accountable for this. Yeah, the big guys all walk away with it. Like I said, Anthony Fauci should have to look under his fucking car every morning in a just world. I don't know why. You should figure out why yourselves. A lot of reasons why you might want to check under your car every morning. Make sure there's no kitty cat sleeping underneath it. That's what I'm thinking about. Is make sure there's no cat sleeping under your car. You don't want to start a car and kill a kitty. But yes, these guys did all this. I mean, it sounds great. Somebody's being punished, but probably nothing real is going to happen to this guy. He received benefits and gifts from this. And we talked about that. We talked about everything he did. These were comments that were left in, they left notes in their Word documents, and that was how they could communicate as well. And these guys did everything they could to hide stuff from the government. Yeah, it's not the people it's the people you have in your pocket. Yep, it's clear and present danger was more correct than they ever wanted to admit. If you've got a chip, when it's your turn to get in trouble, you can present it and you will get cashed in. You can cash in your chips and they will protect you. So, absolute horseshit. Absolute horseshit. And this guy probably won't see a day in jail. So, a little bit another of a black pill there for you guys. My apologies on that, but you're going to have to suffer through it. And then real quick, over on Kick, SP Sellers for 5 subs. Big fucking support over there. Thank you guys so much for your support. I don't even know how much a sub is worth over on Kick. How much is a sub? Gift a sub. How much is it? Oh, wow. They're all the same price. All the same price. $4.99. Thank you. I didn't know if they were saying that way. This reminds me of General Dan Sickles. Well, this is even worse than him. So, I would be horrified to run over a dog or a cat. Fauci and his ilk, not so much. Same for me too. But yes, that's, if it became down to like a cat or Fauci in the road, I'm protecting the cat. It's like you could put that trolley diagram up there and it's like all these NIAID people run one side of it. And you could put a little ant rolling across the one rail on the other side of it. I'm throwing the switch to protect the ant at this point. Fuck all these people. So, what percentage do I keep from Kick to YouTube? I don't know yet because I don't think I've been paid out yet by Kick. I asked myself how the system's so broken. Well, because it is. It is what it is. Like I said, maybe one day a president will just send JSOC out to pick up everybody, but not happening. So when I say the quartering over Fauci, oof. You're really that's a tough one. That's a Sophie's choice. I'd have to. So I'd have to. So that'd be a rough one. And then, guys, we're on to the last story for tonight. I think we are. Hold on here. I need to check. I think we are on to the last one, guys. Okay. Yes. Sorry, we're trying to cancel out some stuff. There we go. All right. Last thing tonight, guys. This is another AI story. This one's pretty funny. How the AI did this. Katie says, no squatters in the old house. That's a win, huh? Well, no, this house is occupied routinely, so there's no problem with that. Did I bring modeling tools to go to the model bench? No. After this, guys, I'm going to be done. I am exhausted, and I feel like I'm talking with like mush mouth right now. But no, I am going to go lay down because I'm about time for my take one tablet twice daily. Oh, I already took these already, so I got to do my drops later, but we're not doing these next. Am I feeling better? Yeah. Like the pressure's gone, but like there's still a ton of pain. This son of a bitch. I know. But this one, guys, this is a AI thing, and this one's actually pretty funny. And we start off with this view of this story. That in Houston, a jury ordered 3M so 3M is the Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing Company. Makes sense, 3M. Well, 3M had a $61 million settlement after an explosion at a grinding company. It destroyed all kinds of buildings and businesses. And obviously 3M doesn't agree with that. But the jury put it out there and it was ordered. You might say, geez, what happened? Well, some funny stuff happened in this case that may have affected what went on here. And this is absolutely hilarious. But the company hired by 3M, to do their reports, Nighthawk Engineering. Well, they hired Nighthawk Engineering, and a guy named Josh Ornreath at Nighthawk prepared an expert report about the explosions. And during the creation of that report, it was given to the plaintiffs. And in the middle of all of this, the plaintiff's attorney was reading along, and he found something called a citation overlay. He found a citation overlay, and it looked like it was generated by ChatGPT. So as we learned about the criminal case, if you send things in the ChatGPT, they're not considered work product or attorney-client privilege, or private things for that matter. So they requested those things. And after some fighting, this came up in the depositions. And stuff was gathered. And ultimately, there was 350 pages of ChatGPT conversations. And this company billed 3M $90,000 for its analysis at $475 an hour for fucking ChatGPT. And here's what some of the ChatGPT prompts were. Here are some of the ChatGPT prompts. I am being retained as a professional expert witness by 3M in defense of their lawsuits at an explosion at one of their companies. I need to create an expert witness report for the care for their work in calibrating, commissioning the iTrans gas detectors. Well, there's probably only 41% safe. but I need to calibrate that. I need to show 3M met the standard of care and why. I will provide the link to the CSB report and several documents from the most recent court case to help craft this document. Here's my professional CV for reference. So this is the guy just like do all the fucking work for me. And then he comes to this and he says, what am I looking at in terms of this gas detection system? Seller says it's work product. No, it's not. You're providing it to a third party. That's not work product. And it gets better, though. It gets better. It gets better. Here's the thing. It says, reread all attachments and prompts and illustrate the lack of PSM and safety by Watson grinding. Defeating Neitlinger's comments and unbiased assumptions. It showed 3M and show how 3M is at 0% fault for the explosion at Watson grinding. And how my background and experience is well suited to render this professional opinion. Oh my God. Oh my God, yes. AI, tell me how we're 100% right. And it did that. And then he said, wait. Don't say 100, because AI said, dude, if you say 100% right, we're going to get picked apart because that's easy for an attorney to attack. And he says, okay, recalibrate, like, give me a different figure. And they're like, I can make you 94% right. And it's like, fuck. My dude. And it gets even better, though. It gets even better. It says, compare my report with another expert witness report submitted in parallel, and neither expert saw the other's work. How do they compare? And the AI started breaking it all down. You know, it says these reports work together. You know, your report is strongest on everything here, and that you guys, your reports work together. You know, you have 20 years of engineering experience, which is true. This guy's a accomplished engineer, and he's using fucking ChatGPT for all this shit. Your credibility is very strong. It's like, is it really? And this is the 350 pages of stuff, guys. This is 350 pages of analysis and everything he did. All the stuff that got turned over. This is so funny, though. And it says attack that your causation opinion overreaches because you say the technicalities did not cause the explosion. You know, he's just walking through ChatGPT with this question after question after question after question. Just ridiculousness. This guy did. And it just goes on and on and on and on. And we get to this just goes forever. So this guy, just look at what this guy did. The lesson is be more careful with AI prompts. No. The lesson is not to do it like this at all. But it gets even funnier, though, because there was a deposition. In the deposition, there's a transcript. And they're talking to this, and this is the questions are from the plaintiff's attorneys, and the answers are by the engineer. And we're just going to look at these 2 pages here, chat, and we're going to be done for the night. And it says, okay, so the day before your deposition, June 9th, prompting 14,249. This is after you spent 174 hours and charged about $90,000, and you're asking him what? And it says, I asked for some manufacturers of gas detectors. He says, I was thinking and sitting in traffic trying to recall what I used several companies ago as far as manufacturers go. Now, this part here that's not really an issue. Like, name off all the companies that make this. Okay, you could check from there. You could check on that, and that might help you. Oh, damn it. I gotta go back and find that spot. All right, hold on here, guys. There we go. Okay. So they said, but was it relevant to your opinions? He's like, I was just asking questions. They say, so you're sitting in traffic and it dawned on you, well, darn it, I need to ask chat, give me makes and models of industrial gas detectors. Is that what you just told us? He's like, yeah, that's what the prompt says. You're like, okay. Well, how many of these other prompts are you just sitting in traffic, just being curious about things? He says this one was probably a couple of different ways, a couple of different times. I've worked for a couple of different companies that use different manufacturers. They say, and why you got to keep asking it the same questions? Just to jog my memory. And they say, because an expert witness on gas detection, you have to have your memory jogged about these systems. And he says, I'm just going through some of the stuff. And they say, okay, when you really want to focus, you realize you were going to give deposition to me the next morning, right? And he says, yep. And he says, you didn't know it was going to be me. You just knew it would be a lawyer for the plaintiffs, right? And he's like, okay. So you're prepping to make sure you do a good job the night before. Like, they found, like, the most smoking hot things of this, guys. Absolutely smoking hot stuff. You know, making sure you put the right prompts in there to get you ready. And he says, I'm just going over stuff and trying to make sure I understand how to do it. Trying to understand how to do it. And he's like, I've never been deposed before. Which, woof, that's a rough thing to be in here. That's a rough one. Yes, this is the most fascinating and modern world that we live in. But guys, it just keeps going here. And it says, well, you had to try to understand how to be an expert witness on gas detection by asking a what? And he says, I wanted to see what it would say. And it says, listen to this attorney. He's just saying, read the prompt, sir. Read what you typed. And his next thing down says, as an expert in gas detection, loss, and grinding, what am I basing the standard of care on as an expert witness? How do I do my job? Sir! And he wrote a 30-plus page report. That's 80 to 95% chat GPT. And he says, if you say so, and then you signed it, yes, and you sent it to your boss, and you say, man, I'm proud of this. God, this attorney he is having the day of his life right now. Yes, sir. Oof. And then you sent it to lawyers that hire. Oh, also, you guys are wondering, are there female or male court reporters? Here you go. Thomas T.J. Butrin. He is a male court reporter. You guys are wondering if they exist. There you go. And he sent it to the lawyers that hired you, right? He's like, I sent it to the focus over there. The night before the deposition, you asked ChatGPT, what am I basing my standard of care on as an expert witness? And they're saying, did you forget? And he just goes, I just wanted to go over to make sure I was thinking the right way. And this is where I love this attorney right here. And he goes, and look, he's like, Chief, I'm going to be level with you. I'm going to be real with you, Chief. It's my position you're not an expert witness. You didn't know what you were doing. You needed to find it out from ChatGPT the night before. He's like, I'm going to be 100 with you, man. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. And to be fair, it's like, yeah, you don't. So, and this is this is awful here. This is awful in court. Imagine this all coming out. This is all coming out here. This is just absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal, you guys. Absolutely brutal. So, yes, that's probably part of what happened to cause that $61 million verdict. A fucking expert's like, yeah, I just did it all ChatGPT. I put my name on it, though. I double-checked its work. Yeah. So there you go. There you go. Yes, minus 100 is yacht. Yes. Minus 100 is yacht. Total is yacht death. Total is yacht death. But this is like, yeah. Really rough out there. Don't fuck around, guys. Don't fuck around. I just thought this was so damn funny. I thought this was so funny, guys. You couldn't like. How do you beat that? Like, I don't know. I don't know how you beat that. I really don't. It like this AI stuff at times is hilarious, but it's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. Could the verdict be set aside? You know, like, could 3M claim like we had ineffective experts? No. They could sue that company for it. They could sue the company that gave them the bad information, but that's one of those deals you kind of run what you brung. If you hired some experts who apparently are fucking goobers and losers, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. So the court's going to say, that's not my fault. That's not a manifest injustice. You picked a shitty expert. Should have fixed that. Should have checked on it. There are times where companies will hire experts and they will secretly have experts review the expert work. And I have a feeling as this goes on and we deal with more ChatGPT and AIs, you're going to have this secret expert industry who, like, they actually do work and they make sure, but then it's going to be who watches the watchers and who watches those watchers. There's going to be a lot of that going on as the Indianification of things happens in America. Imagine being a competent, accomplished engineer at the end, you're rubber stamping for AI. Yep. I look up stuff I already know. I do too. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't see how using AI to write my research is any different than Google or Microsoft Word. Well, in this case, it was, because you're completely manipulating all the data. And it looks like you don't know what you're doing. Looks like you don't know what you're doing. Territory says, took my elderly mother to follow up post-surgery doctor's appointment. Doctor spent most of the time using AI to give her a medicine. We are doomed. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that before too. But, you know, that's, yeah. Iron Duke says, only the biggest companies will be able to check things that were not AI. I think there's going to be ways to do that in the future that'll be cheaper. So, Kurt says, this camera makes you look 10 years older in a different race. Love you, man. Well, thank you, Kurt. Good luck. Start next week. Going to trial, taking on some corrupt cops who did some illegal shit. Got qualified immunity taken away from these officers, which that is an impressive feat, Kurt. So good job on that out there. We need meme and code criminal stickers on Kick. I got to figure out how to do that now. I'll figure that out, sellers. Purple Cow Cat. Yes, me and the Gators. There we go. Keno Heretic says, did he actually use it raw, though, or was it drafted and stuff and reviewed it? It's not clear because this guy used such stupid, like, what is the standard of, like, when you're putting in the basics of, like, that, it makes you look like an idiot. Now, if he had done it and said, do you agree this is what I'm looking at? Do you detect any other options? Here are my list of options. You can talk with ChatGPT and give it a list of things like, how do I fix this? How do I fix that? Here's all the things I've done. Okay. But when you just go, oh my God, help me, you don't look like an impressive expert. So. But remember, chat, AI is not protected. It's a third party. There's no work product. There's no privacy. That's why all that stuff is out there. That's why my emails now, I have a warning about, like, if you weren't the intended recipient, like confidentiality notice. But I also have an AI warning. Don't feed this email or any contents or attachments of this into AI or learning models or language models, because you're going to destroy confidentiality. I think that's something attorneys have to do in the future. And if they don't, they risk malpractice. So it's the new frontier. It's the new frontier. Ow, my jaw just popped. That hurt. Let's see here. How's that any more third party than doing research online or using Microsoft Word? I mean, like, you still have to guide it and you still have to, like, dig it around. Like, it's a little different when the AI is involved. I mean, eventually it might not be, but for now it is. AI is better than Google. If you don't know how to use it, that's on you. Yeah, I mean, the guy could have used it certain ways that he probably would have been fine, but shouldn't have done it that way. Well, AI tell you what the oranges are for? No, Jesus. Outlaw says neither of those feeding something back to you. Yeah, I'm sure, but there's ways, like, I'm just kind of riffing off the cuff. I don't know. There's ways you could have probably done it where you don't sound like a retard. But this guy sounded very incompetent, and that didn't help things. What if you went to the sources that AI started? That's probably not a bad idea, but, like, just having that stuff out there the way he cited, the way he did the prompts, seems stupid. So, did the model bench get a strike? No. What do you guys keep saying this shit? The model bench is fine. Like, it's not missing anything. I never got any notices the model bench took a hit. So I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know what you guys are getting after. I didn't take anything down. Oh shit, what happened? Wait, oh fuck, it did take something down. I didn't mess with it. Oh, it said I violated community guideline. I don't know what you guys did or somebody did. It said I violated community guideline. So I don't know. You guys like having the casino run afterwards, so I run casino. I don't fucking know. So whatever. I didn't realize it was down. Nothing I could do about it. So with that said, though, guys, we are going to wrap this up here tonight. I am sorry. Oh, it's Kino Casino playing DK. That could be it. We are going to wrap it up here. I am traveling back tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. We will catch up on Lindsay Clancy. Okay, guys. Like, there's not much to Lindsay Clancy really at this point. And we're going to catch up on Tupac's trial. We'll keep going into Tupac next week. We'll get back into some other topics, other stuff to cover. We got a bunch of other stories we can really kind of dig into now that are out there. We'll get into those. So yeah, I apologize, guys. We're going to be a little spotty. I may do some, like, I don't know, just do like in Discord or stream in locals and just chat with you guys or whatever. We might do some stuff in Discord. Keep me company while I'm driving. But other than that, guys, I apologize. Like I said, this week is... Don't get an ear infection. Don't pee in your pool. Don't pee in your pool. That's my advice to you. That's my advice to you. Don't pee in a pool you're swimming in. And don't let other people pee in your pool. Don't do that. I don't recommend it in the future. So, with that said, chat, you guys all have a great night. I will see you. And until next time, thank you all for being here. And just remember, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Good night, chat. Oh, I can actually do this now. Boop. Can boop that one. Good night, chat, and take care.
weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy that Kaden yelled at? Why, yes it was, he even knows he's fat. For all this fun and more, there's one place to go, here on Sean Martin's Potentially Criminal Show.
Members of the public, I do apologize for the language that was just used. The statements that he's made, good or bad, do not necessarily reflect the views of anybody around this horseshoe, any staff, or the city. We appreciate your patience. This is a regular occurrence, and we do apologize.